Hey, welcome back to our channel, Eye2Eye. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kyle.
And tonight we're going to be talking about our favorite restaurants in Disney World.
So whatever you do, do not watch this video if you're hungry. So one of the most underrated things about Walt Disney World, it's not the characters, it's not the rides, it's not the entertainment, it's the food. I mean, there's just so much to eat at Walt Disney World, and it's not just burgers and fries. That's what everybody assumes that you're going to do when you go to Walt Disney World, is that you're just going to eat fries, burgers, hot dogs, pizza, those fatty, really, admittedly, really good foods.
Yeah.
But there's lots more there at Walt Disney World to eat.
Absolutely. That's one of our favorite things. I think we really, after our trip, from our 1-year anniversary, we really just fell in love with the food at Disney. And
yeah, and it didn't help the situation that we had a free dining plan.
That's what made it worse.
And that's back when it was truly free too, because it wasn't like incorporated into the cost of your package deal. You actually got free food in that. So that was bad all the way around for us. So we're doing this video in a response to one of our listeners and friends, Allison, and you know who you are, who requested that we suggest some things that we like to eat at Walt Disney World, and more specifically some restaurants, whether that be quick service, table service, buffets. I love buffets.
Yeah, we've got a good mix of foods. So I think let's start with Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I think probably some of our favorite restaurants. We'll start, one of my favorites is the Plaza.
Yeah. Right
on Main Street is this cute little restaurant. It's small.
Yeah.
It maybe seats 40 people. It's very small, and the food is great, but the desserts are what makes it even better. I'm a dessert girl. I have a sweet tooth like no other. Probably a sweet mouth, if that's a thing.
Sure.
All of my teeth are sweet. But they have, so when we had our dining plan, they had banana splits, and so I was like, well, I'll just get a banana split since it's free, thinking it would be like, you know, the Dairy Queen banana split that's little. Yeah. No. This beast was a whole plate size big. It had 3 scoops of each flavor ice cream that you got, plus 2 whole bananas, plus all the toppings. There was no chance that I could have eaten even a quarter of it, but it was free, so I didn't care. It was wonderful.
Yeah, and the thing I like about the Plaza is really quaint, and like you said, it's kind of small, but it gives it a more intimate feel, and it's kind of that old style restaurant where you can get things like banana splits, meatloaf I think is what I got, or something like that, really home cooking kind of stuff there.
Absolutely. You just feel, like Thanksgiving dinner. I think I had turkey and dressing.
Yeah, you did,
you can watch, people watch, it's perfect. It's a really sweet restaurant.
Yeah, and it's got, as far as people watching, you can sit inside with these giant windows, but they also have outside seating as well. So we would definitely recommend that one for families, because even though it's a smaller restaurant, they do really good seating wise, like they can kind of spread people out and make longer tables and stuff in there. So that would be a good option for families as well. One I'm going to recommend is over in Adventureland, and it's fairly new. It's called the Skipper Canteen. Now I will go ahead and say that this is one restaurant that probably would be better suited for people with a more exploratory palate, because they have some interesting things there, like char siu pork, which is what I had, which was good. And I think you had some kind of fried chicken interesting thing. I can't believe it's not chicken, I think is what it was called, or something like that. Do you remember?
Honestly, I didn't like it, so I don't remember.
It is not.
I liked his food better than mine.
Right. It's not one of Jessica's favorites. However, a common theme here, what was your favorite part about that restaurant?
The dessert.
It was called the Kungaloosh, and it was like chocolate, almonds, bananas. Something.
It had, what'd they have on the top of it? It had banana and caramel. Oh my gosh. The Kungaloosh.
Yeah.
That was the only redeeming quality of that meal for me.
Well, the thing that I like about this restaurant, and this is more for the experience of it, and that's what Disney does so well with their food and their dining options, they give you an experience with it. This is based off the ride, the Jungle Cruise, where the skippers are on their break, I think is what the theme is, and they come inside and they're your servers. So if you know what the Jungle Cruise is all about, you're going through a ride with animatronic animals, and the skippers are just doing the really corniest and sometimes awful jokes about them, but it's the charm of the ride, and it carries over into the restaurant, and it really, the ride is made for you if you have a great skipper, and it's the same thing if you have a great server in the Skipper Canteen. So as long as you have that, you're going to have a great experience, and that's why I would recommend it, just to try something new and to have a really cool experience.
So I think next we'll talk about a really sad one for us. I hate to even mention it.
I would pour one out, but I don't want to, you know.
Is it worth even mentioning since it's going
Yes,
away?
we have to mention it.
Our very favorite food at Disney. Very favorite. Was the mac and cheese, pot roast mac and cheese from Friar's Nook.
Yes.
This food sounds so weird, but just think it's like two things that you love. Pot roast and mac and cheese, and they're in a bowl together, and it's warm, and it's perfect. And it was at the Friar's Nook, right beside the carousel, so it's good for people watching again, and they're getting rid of it when April 4th.
I think that's the rumor, and I think that rumor was confirmed from sources that I've heard. So it's very sad for us because that in and of itself is a meal for, honestly, you might be able to do it between two people, but for me, it's such a big mouth and a big stomach, I usually get my own and let her get her own.
I get my own too because it's so good.
Yeah.
And when you're in Disney, you're walking so much, you need the extra fat, right?
Yeah, that's a good point because you're going to be working it off. But the thing about this is, it's one of those quick service restaurants in Fantasyland that just kind of gets overlooked, and you only stop if you're just hungry right then, and you'd miss it. We actually got it recommended from a Disney podcaster, and that's how we learned about it. So hopefully they will reverse their decision and bring it back. We're not going to protest or anything like that, but it's a sad day for us now that we know that, as far as we know, it is gone for good. So Friar's Nook, bring it back. Alright, so the next one I have on my list here would be Be Our Guest, and it's another one that's kind of new. It's I guess probably about 5 years old now. I feel like I feel like it was being built when we took our 1-year anniversary.
I think you're right. And
we finally got the chance to go be a part of this restaurant because it is a hot ticket. I mean, you have to literally, the day that you can start making dine reservations, you have to make one.
And we got our reservation, what, 9:30 at night?
9:30 at night. And I surprised you on our anniversary with it.
And my birthday.
So what's like one of the favorite things that you like about this restaurant?
Well, I would say the gray stuff because it's delicious. But I think that's what everybody says. So I'm going to say that was probably, honestly, the best steak that I had at Disney World.
Yeah.
It was even better than the steakhouse in Epcot. And I loved that. But the steak at Be Our Guest was phenomenal.
And that was the last sit-down dinner we had for that last year's trip too. So that was like a nice way to end off our trip.
It's a good anniversary.
It was. So a couple other mentions for the Magic Kingdom would be Pecos Bill Restaurant, which is in Frontierland, which is kind of a taco bar, and the Crystal Palace, which is a buffet.
So moving on, let's move on to Epcot. One of our favorite restaurants there is the Coral Reef Restaurant.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to get to go with his family. His mom surprised us with that restaurant, and it was such a nice treat. The food was fantastic, as usual, but just getting to see the aquarium inside the restaurant was a really nice surprise for us.
Yeah, and I would recommend this one for families. The food is a little bit on the, not fine dining side, but it's a little bit...
For Disney.
Yeah, it is. So... Yeah. I would definitely recommend that you go in with an open mind there. A lot of fish, obviously it's the Coral Reef Restaurant, but the cool thing is for families is the just giant glass windows with all the fish and the sharks coming by. So that's that's a really cool experience. Again, Disney taking the theme dining to the next level there. One of my favorites for Epcot is the giant cafeteria style eating restaurant called Seasons, and it is in one of my favorite pavilions in all of Epcot, the Land, because it has one of the best rides in the world, Living with the Land. Jessica does not like it because she gets bored easily and doesn't like edutainment, where you learn
I don't get bored easily. I just don't care how crops are grown at Disney when I can go ride Soarin'.
We can talk about those rides and compare and contrast which are our favorites there later. So let's talk more about the food. This place is awesome because it's just got a lot of different options. Definitely recommend this for families because you can find anything you want there. You can find Asian food, you can find country food, you can find hot dogs, hamburgers. Just a great place to come in, and you can find something for everybody there. And I just really enjoy and pretty much make you go there every time we go to Disney, to Epcot.
So moving on, one of our favorite little snack areas is called the Refreshment Port, which is kind of a random name, but they have the cronut. So if you haven't had a cronut, right, if you haven't had a cronut, I don't know what you're doing when you go to Disney. This is a donut that's like a croissant, but it's got cinnamon and sugar on it, And for those sweet tooth people like me, you can get ice cream on top, which they did for my birthday for free.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. So always go to Disney on your birthday. It's the best plan ever.
Which technically it will be my birthday when we go again.
We gotta get you a birthday
we should
buddy.
do that one. Now I do prefer it without the ice cream, but it
Yes, I prefer it without it, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, so Cronuts definitely is a recommendation. Go to the refreshment port at the beginning of the World Showcase and you'll be able to find them there.
Don't share it though.
Well, you can share it, but you're both going to be fighting for that last piece.
Don't share it. It's not worth the fight. I promise it is not worth it.
Another favorite of ours is in the Mexico Pavilion, and this is called the San Angel Inn Restaurant. And it is a very nice restaurant set inside the Mexico Pavilion, inside the pyramid. And it's really cool because not only is it the restaurant, but it integrates a portion of one of the rides in Epcot, which is a really fun family ride. It's the Los Caballeros with Donald Duck, Panchito, and I'm blanking on the other guy's name.
I didn't know they had names.
Yeah, well, see, look, I know a little bit more than you do about. It's Donald Duck.
But the food at the restaurant
there I go again.
was excellent. I had steak there as well, and you had, I can't remember what you had.
I had it was like the Santa Fe chicken or something like that, but it was really good. But again, the dessert was some kind of like almond cheesecake.
Which normally we would not like, and we tried it on a recommendation from the waiter, and it was so good. Yeah,
so definitely go check that out. I would recommend it for families as well because of just the atmosphere there and getting to watch people ride through on the portion of the ride that you do get to see.
It's just a fun experience.
All around.
Some honorable mentions that we have for Epcot would be Via Napoli and the Italian Pavilion.
Yep.
And Le Cellier in the Canadian Pavilion. So both were very good. So moving on to one of my favorite parks, Hollywood Studios. One of the restaurants that's very nostalgic for me is the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. So I have been there, I think every time I've been to Disney since I was 16. It is so fun. The food is actually really good, surprisingly. You get to sit in these little drive-in cars and watch a movie the whole time you eat. So it's just a nice, cute little experience.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's not just like one movie, it's several like snippets and cartoons and things like that, but it's all in the, I guess the era of the 50s or 40s or something like that.
Probably, maybe the 70s?
Maybe I just don't know my history that
well. Well, the TV's colored.
It is colored in that, so it's a really cool atmosphere and you can get things like burgers and shakes there. Those are all really good. It's just another great themed atmosphere that I would recommend for anybody and not just families. So another great themed one that I love is called the 50s Primetime Theater. Jessica, come on now.
They're so embarrassing. This one, we went on my birthday again. And the guy, you know, you wear your birthday button at Disney. And the guy was so embarrassing. Made me stand up in the middle of the restaurant while he like played with my hair and like put a silly hat on me
happy birthday
sang.
to you.
And
yeah.
It was just really embarrassing. It was beyond just the normal little singing thing.
Well, beyond that, the food is good, a lot of great options there. This is one where you need to come ready to interact with your server and the environment a little bit because they kind of play up the 50s primetime theater. It's themed around you're coming into someone's home in the 50s and your server or waitress is going by the name uncle or aunt or brother or something like that, and they just kind of talk to you like they've known you forever. So it's really interesting because they'll tell you not to put your elbows on the table, sit up straight, make sure you're wearing your napkins and things like that. So it's really cool and fun as far as an experience. But Jessica is just not a fan of it, I don't think.
It's just embarrassing, so you have to be easily embarrassed.
Yeah.
Or not easily embarrassed.
Not easily embarrassed.
So a tradition for us when we go to Hollywood Studios is in the morning after we ride a few rides is to go to Starring Rolls, which is right by the, what's it called, that Derby restaurant?
Hollywood Brown Derby, yeah.
Okay. So it's right there. It's this tiny little nook of a restaurant, and you just go in and get pastries and stuff and come back out. But they have fantastic muffins and cookies and stuff, so we always just grab a muffin or some coffee or something in the morning. It's really fun. Yeah,
a lot of great options there as far as pastries and stuff, so it's a real good pick-me-up after you've gotten done riding with Rocket Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, Star Tours, a great movie ride, Toy Story Mania, so it's a nice pick-me-up to get you started for the rest of the day.
Yep.
Another really quick option for you guys is Sweet Spells, which you can find on Sunset Boulevard, which leads down to Tower of Terror. And it's just basically a candy and sweet shop. So
that kind of place.
Yes, exactly. So it smells awesome in there. It's themed with some of the Disney villains. especially for, I think, the Evil Queen.
Yes.
And I think she's like on the front of the store there. You can see her like kind of doing the cauldron type thing. So a lot of great stuff in there that you can find to snack on throughout the day. And a couple other options that we have, just honorable mentions, would be Mama Melrose's, which is an Italian-style family restaurant. And also what formerly was known as Pizza Planet, but is now going to be changed to Rizzo's, and it's just kind of your traditional personal pizza place.
Yeah. So moving on to Animal Kingdom, and one of my favorite restaurants, I think you hear me talk about this all the time, is Pizzafari. Pizzafari is nothing spectacular except it's Pizzafari.
Are you kidding? It is spectacular.
It is, but it's literally the same pizza they serve at Pizza Planet or Rizzo's. But it's so good. It's so good. I don't even know how to describe it. It's a personal pizza, and I mean whatever you want on your personal pizza, not too extreme, but it is Disney. But it's Pizzafari. It's so good. And
I thought I was the kid in the relationship. You have never seen someone be so happy to go to Animal Kingdom, because I think every time we're on the way there, she just yells out Pizzafari, like in the most childlike joy and stuff. I mean, I just
love Pizzafari.
I just can't describe how happy that going there makes you. So it's a tradition for us. So I think pretty much anybody will like that. For me, I've got to always go back to the Rainforest Cafe, because it is just a quintessential like themed restaurant where you go inside and it's themed around the rainforest, so it rains in there. The animatronic animals come to life a little bit. It's just a lot to look at, a lot to take in. Can be loud in there at times. The food, they change the menu a lot in there, so I feel like we try something different each time. And it's, hit or miss on what you have, but we can all agree the best thing, and arguably for me the best dessert I've ever had, was like their Diablo cake, I think it was called, which is like just double chocolate upon chocolate. And
with raspberry drizzle.
Oh my goodness, right now. Okay, move on to yours. Okay. I need a moment over here.
So this last year when we went in September, we tried a new restaurant for us, the Yak and Yeti restaurant. And it's really cool. Speaking of theming, it was really neat how they had the upstairs and downstairs of the restaurant. They had truly like fake yak heads coming out of the wall and stuff. But the food there was really good. We had some kind of noodle bowl. They had lots of rice bowls. It was just a really, really good restaurant. Yeah, it's a very Indian themed restaurant or Asian inspired restaurant. So you can get a lot of those type of foods there. And none of it's too out there for anybody who's a really picky eater like myself. Right. I had a great time there, and I think that's one we would like to go back to in the future. So I would definitely recommend that one as well. So another quick service option for you guys would be Flame Tree Barbecue, and this is one of those places that you don't find a lot in Disney World. I don't think they have a ton of barbecue places, but you can go to this quick service option, which is right next to the Tree of Life and the entrance to I think it's called It's Tough to Be a Bug, the Bugs Life show. And it's got barbecue sandwiches, barbecue plates. It's just a nice option other than hot dogs, hamburgers, and pizza that you can throw in there. So I would definitely recommend. It's always nice to find a quick service meal that, like you said, is not chicken fingers, hamburger, hot dogs. Or turkey legs. Yeah, but is that quick service price. It really is good, and I would recommend it. And admittedly for us at Animal Kingdom, we haven't tried a lot of the other restaurants, which is something we're hoping to do in the future. Also, we would recommend the Rainforest Cafe, which you can find in downtown Disney / Disney Springs. It's the same exact restaurant, but if you can't get a reservation at the Animal Kingdom one, definitely go check it out over at Disney Springs. To close out, we wanted to bring out a few restaurants and eating places outside of the parks and Disney Springs. We honestly have done very bad about trying to go eat at places at the resorts, and we're going to try to do more of that in the future. But here are a few of the things that we have tried in some of the resorts. Everyone's been to the All-Star Resorts pretty much. That's the cheapest way to go when you stay at Disney World. And so everybody there has tried their cafeterias. You can get pretty much anything that you want there. A very nice restaurant that we have tried is at the Caribbean Beach Resort, which is where we stayed for our 1-year anniversary and our 5-year anniversary. It's called Shutters. Very nice, small, quaint, and intimate restaurant that I would recommend giving a try. You could also try Roaring Forks at the Wilderness Lodge, which is a great quick service restaurant which has a lot of cool options you wouldn't think a quick service restaurant would have. Also, a fan favorite and really good for a family would be Chef Mickey's, where you can eat there at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's a buffet. Well, I mean, what else is there to say about buffets? The best buffet. Is that probably your favorite out of that last list? Yeah, probably so.
I mean, you get to meet Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and
Donald.
We didn't get to meet Donald at the last one.
Nope, that's right.
Broke my heart. That was the only bad part about our 5-year anniversary trip, is I didn't get to meet Donald. But life goes on. So that's going to be all we have for you guys tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And if you have any comments, please leave them down below. Be sure to like and subscribe the video and check us out on our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time to watch our video tonight, and that's all we have. So until we see you guys next time, we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
Let's go into bloopers.
Pushing the fish.
It's going to take a lot more to do that. No comment.
It's not polite to kill your husband on camera. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Don't move your chair. It's awesome.
Let's do it.
Okay, ready?
Hold on. Pinky's extended.
What's extended?
Pinkies. No. You do not try that, because you will drop it.
Shut up. Okay, think with that clock. Okay, 3, 2. Hey, welcome back to our channel, Eye to Eye. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kyle. You redo that one, because I waited too long.
Yeah, for real.
I thought
you were asleep.
I was asleep. I pretty much was.
So, since we've done all the okay. Aren't we missing a part? There's only 4 parts. I thought there's 5.
I wish there was 5. Oh well. You have that on video?
Can you see that I've got fur on my shirt?
No, but I can see Lucy's.
Lucy. Do you have that on video?